Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. We are so happy to have you here tonight for tonight's version of the State of the IOCDF. I'm Amanda. I'm the Communications Manager here at the IOCDF. I'm going to be your host tonight, and I'm so grateful to you for joining us. We're going to give everyone a few moments to come in and get settled in, and then we'll get started with introductions and get into this great discussion that we're planning for this evening. So thank you so much for being here. As you're coming in, feel free to jump in the chat and let us know where you're joining from. We love hearing where everyone's able to join the stream from. So we're really grateful to have you all here, and thank you for joining us. I want to say a huge thank you to my panelists who are here tonight, who I'll be introducing in just a moment. We're really looking forward to this discussion and just so glad that everyone's here. So as everyone's filing in, feel free to jump in that chat and say hello. Let us know where you're joining from, and we'll get started in just a moment. I see Nathan is here from Athens, Georgia. Hi, Nathan. It's good to see you. Thanks for saying hi.
That's where I went to grad school.
Ah, that's amazing. You've got a connection there.
Mm-hmm.
We see Matthew Bannister's here. Hi, Matt. How are you? It's good to see you. Mike Batter from Jacksonville. Hi. Spence Robert from Houston says hello. Maya from North Carolina. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being here. We're so glad to have you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Tonight, we have the State of the IOCDF, Support for All at the annual OCD conference in Orlando. Like I said, my name's Amanda, and I'm the Communications Manager. I'm so lucky tonight to be joined by these amazing panelists, and I'm going to go ahead and have them introduce themselves. I'm going to go ahead and get started with Becky. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Becky.
Sure. Good evening. I'm Becky Deucer. I'm the Executive Director of IOCDF. I've got almost 6 months under my belt since I saw you last time in January, and it's been an exciting ride already. It's great to be here tonight.
Thank you so much for that, Becky. It's so great to have you, and it's great to be having another discussion so soon. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go ahead and go to you, Matt, please.
Yes, thank you, Amanda. Really appreciate you. Matthew Antonelli, Director of Operations. I'm really excited to dig in more around the upcoming Orlando conference.
Thank you for that. And of course, last but not least, we have Marnie Jacob.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marnie Jacob. I'm a clinical psychologist in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm president of the IOCDF affiliate, OCD Central South Florida. And thanks for having me.
We're so grateful to have you here with us. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all of you for being a part of this conversation. We're really looking forward to this discussion and to digging in with you. So before we dig into everything, I wanted to go ahead and start with you, Becky. Like you said, it's been a few months since we checked in. So I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about, the state of the IOCDF and getting ready for Orlando, where we are as an organization.
Sure. And again, Marnie, I want to thank you too for joining us tonight. It's great to see you. So the state of the IOCDF is exciting and strong. It's been a great first few months. I've met so many amazing and interesting, committed people. The staff I'm getting to know very well, and I just couldn't be more thrilled to be here. I think I said this in my first town hall. This truly is a dream job for me. And every day I'm just so thrilled to help advance our work together, and really excited about the conversation tonight too. I do have a couple of updates. One, just with the conference in general, we have 850 people registered so far, which is ahead of where we were last year, and they're good early numbers. And we're also seeing some exciting interest in the new virtual option that we'll be testing out this year. And we hope to learn a lot from that and how that'll help us shape the conferences for the future too. We have our largest number of sponsors ever, and we're still going. So there's more interest from stakeholders outside of the general community, whether it's from businesses or clinical providers and others. And it's great to see so much support for the conference already this year. And kudos to Kristen Lynch, who's our Director of Development, for all of that work that she's doing. We'll be talking more about this in detail, but we have a really exciting program plan this year on topics that are going to be engaging for all of our audiences. And we prioritized having a lot of new and diverse voices this year and speakers, even more than years past. I also wanted to mention we have a really fantastic keynote speaker who we're not ready to publicly announce yet. but I think many of you will know who she is, and she's going to be sharing a really unique lived experience and treatment journey with us in her keynote. It's a woman of color, and I think as we get to learn more about her and her story, she'll be familiar to a number of you. And that's all I can share right now as a teaser for who it is. And we'll hope to have that update soon. A couple of non-conference related updates I just wanted to share quickly. First is we've launched officially our 5-year strategic planning process, and we'll be holding numerous listening sessions this month. I think some of you, I've seen some names pop up, have already been on some, and it's been great to get that engagement so far. So we're on track to have a final strategic plan by the end of this year, possibly in January. And we'll be providing updates and touch points with you all as we move along. I just want to reiterate again, there'll be more opportunities over the summer and the fall to engage with us. And I'd really love to hear from every single one of you about what you think is most important as we're thinking about our future for the next 5 years and beyond. I did want to share 2 quick leadership updates. I had just mentioned earlier that Kristen Lynch has been promoted to be Director of Development for IOCDF. Very well deserved. She's been with us for several years, and she's already doing amazing work, and I'm thrilled to see what else she'll be able to do in the years to come. And I also wanted to mention that we hired a new Director of Communications and Digital Strategy named Rachel Crowfoot, and she'll be meeting you along the way as we continue with these live streams and many touch points and at the conference. And I hope you all get a chance to get to know her too. I did want to make one more announcement that's somewhat related to tonight's discussion, and Matt can share in more detail. Next week, we're going to be making public a new and detailed statement about our organization's commitment to advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion through all the work we do. It's taken quite some time to work with many of you who are on this call and a lot of our other stakeholders and our staff and others to get to this point. And I'm very, very proud of the commitments and the statements that we're going to be making. And keep your eyes peeled for that early next week. So I just wanted to turn the conversation towards the conference, and then I'll quickly hand it over to Matt and Marnie, who can speak in a lot more detail than I can. Just as a level set, many of you know the annual conference is the largest international event that's solely focused on OCD and the related disorders. And it's really extraordinary. I could not be more excited to go to my first conference this year in just a couple of months. It brings together loved ones, people with lived experience, clinicians, researchers, and many, many other people who are all committed to learning and building community with one another. I have to tell you, in all of the different jobs I've had and industries I've worked in, I've never seen anything like this community that is so tight-knit, so supportive, and so excited about the future. And I think it's important to focus on that when we're thinking about the conference and what it's all about. So with that, I just want to state again, our commitment this year and every year is that the environment at the conference is safe, and it's exciting, it's engaging, it's fun, and it's inclusive. And I think you'll be very happy to hear some of the details and updates that we have to share with you tonight. So thank you for giving me a few minutes, and I'm going to turn it over to Matt and Marnie. Thanks.
Thank you, Becky. You know, it's such an amazing event that we get to put on to connect directly with the community and provide resources and benefit from each other's lived experience and learned experience, and have the clinicians, researchers, lived experience, family, and loved one all under one roof. It's just something that motivates me personally and annually. And, you know, we have this conversation around why Orlando and how do we choose the cities that we go to. You know, the way to think about this is we intentionally move the conference around to different cities and states every year. That's to reach and serve different populations. One of the you know, things that we like to brag about our conference is a large percentage, even, you know, sometimes half of our attendees come from driving distance. So it's really important to have the conference move locations so that we add that level of resource and community throughout the country. You know, we book these things 8 to 10 years in advance, and we really try to strategically prioritize the areas that we haven't been. It's been a long time since we've been in the southeast of the US, and we're really excited to bring this life-saving resource back to that vulnerable region. We're an organization that's committed to supporting everyone impacted by OCD and related disorders. Essentially, that means we have to move the conference around. We have to give this opportunity to individuals who may not be able to afford a flight or be able to, travel long distances. So it's about the accessibility and the affordability, but this is a value that we've maintained since the inception of this conference and continue to prioritize to this day. This year, we very intentionally folded in a lot of community voices to our DEI planning. Every year around the conference, we try to see what's unique about these cities, what unique challenges are we facing by going there, and the staff works diligently to try to safeguard a lot of that. This year, with us being in Orlando, we tapped a much wider network to have feedback given to us, suggestions, boots on the ground in Florida, like Marnie, all of these folks who are doing this work in that region, who can help point us to like-minded partners, who can help share resources with us to be able to deliver to our community. It's really been an inspiring exchange, and this task force that we've assembled, we've have been meeting many times, and it's something that we've now laid a foundation and a groundwork to continue in perpetuity. So this conference planning DEI task force will live on in every iteration of this in-person conference that we do in future years. And it really allows us to establish an action plan around what it's going to look like when we're there, what the months, and in this case, even year, took leading up to that event to execute. So a little later in the conversation, we'll go more explicitly into what that action plan is and where that came from, and where we're at in terms of accomplishments as well. But we're so grateful to partners and our affiliates, like you, Marnie. So I'd love to hear from you in terms of the importance of bringing this conference to Orlando as well.
Sure. Well, I think I know that clinicians in the state of Florida and the OCD community in the state of Florida, supporters, family members, are really going to benefit from having the conference here. We see people with OCD everywhere, regardless of where you live, regardless of political affiliation, religious denomination, and I think regardless of socio-political issues in the area, there's always people who can benefit from our outreach and our resources. And I think that this is just going to highlight all the incredible resources that we have and hopefully bring more access to clinicians here. I'm excited that so many local groups and statewide organizations are going to be involved in the conference and are partnering with the conference. Like the Florida Psychological Association will be present. NAMI Florida will be present. There's going to be state representatives that have been invited and should be making some appearances there. So we're just really excited that our state is excited about the conference, and we're pumped to welcome everybody. And yeah, we're going to warn you about the humidity, but we really can't wait to have everybody here. And from what I've seen thus far, I have just seen really great activism on behalf of IOCDF in terms of working to address any of the concerns that have been expressed by the community, and just really making a concerted effort to making sure that this conference is inclusive and really does reach people in need everywhere.
Thank you for that, Marnie. And thank you all of you for your input. It's really helpful to hear from you about the importance of hosting this in this location and, the reasoning behind it and what this really offers the community in this action. One of the questions that I have is, there's been a lot of conversation about holding this conference in Florida. How is the IOCDF handling the feedback? I know you touched upon this a bit in your response, Matt. So if you want to start us off, I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Definitely. I think it's the aim of the foundation to include as many voices as possible across the board. And when it comes to conference planning, it's no different. So we proactively sent out a survey to try to see, what people thought about us being in Orlando and what safety looks like to them, what inclusivity looks like to them, have different perspectives shared with us. So outside of our mission, we can really consider unintended consequences that could come from us being there. And, something that Marnie was touching upon is leaving this legacy after we're gone as well. All those clinicians who are down in the state of Florida will learn and evolve from this conference. So hearing from those individuals about how important this was really helped shape the feedback that we received as well. We, outside of that survey, we really took this task force very seriously. We wanted to find a way to include as many voices in this conversation to make sure that we were making the event as safe and as inclusive as possible. Of course, we can never guarantee or ensure safety, but we can do things and take actions to promote how people are coming together and what that looks like as a community. So, we've really intentionally sought out these diverse perspectives to make sure that we were truly considering diverse outcomes here. So it's something that has, again, been the most intentional around Orlando, but has been so helpful in this planning process. And as we continue to plan future conferences, we want to continue to have ongoing conversations with our community. We encourage that feedback. We grow and are better when we get to hear from all of you. So thank you to all of those who have submitted feedback in the surveys and in emails and conversations with us. This is what's helping shape and grow this program so that we can deliver this life-saving resource in the state of Florida.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Becky or Marnie, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, I'm just taking a peek at some of the comments too and questions. I wasn't sure if we were going to do those at the end or if we should incorporate them. I'll wait for your.
We can absolutely incorporate them as we go. I'm seeing everyone in the comments having different conversations. It looks like we can't talk about which state reps yet, Mike. Thank you for asking.
I'll just say this, though. We're focusing on the delegation from the Orlando area, and we're working really closely with people in volunteers, IOCDF volunteers who live in Orlando and know the community very well. So we'll continue to keep people posted on that, but I don't anticipate any additional issues with that.
Okay.
In terms of Charles' comment about why it's controversial, this is something that we don't define as controversial. That, again, this is something that based on your political, stance or your socioeconomic stance or, even just which part of the country you live in, you're going to have different views and different assumptions and different biases. And this was something that we heard from our community. So we do not label this controversial at all. In fact, by doing this work and building up to this conference, there is so much good happening in Florida and in the Orlando region. There's so many amazing organizations that we've had an opportunity to work with. And as Mike was saying, and state reps and politicians, as well as the clinicians and institutional members. So yeah, just so we're speaking to wider concerns and not putting that out there ourselves.
I appreciate you taking the time to respond to that, Matt. Thank you. We'll keep an eye on the comments and please continue to drop your questions in there. We'll keep responding as we go. I did want to, I appreciate how we've talked about, how we're hearing from the community and the input that we're receiving and responding to. I'm curious, can we talk a little bit more about the response and maybe talk a little bit about the action plan as well that we've put into place?
Definitely. This is kind of the exciting part. We're finally seeing the fruits of this last year of planning coming to fruition. we call it an action plan because this is us taking action in the state at the conference to really, again, promote safety and inclusivity, try to reach as many people as we can. Some of the exciting highlights of the action plan are, for the first time ever, we're offering a hybrid track. Attendees will be able to view an entire everybody track from home. So those who are unable or do not wish to travel will be able to attend this in-person conference for the first time. It's going to be a really meaningful way to participate both in the tracks and through other ways to connect with the community. So there'll be more information that continues to come out around that. And we're planning on and hoping for huge success so that we'd be able to maintain that hybrid aspect, if not grow that in future years as well. Something else exciting that we've kind of touched upon are all the local partnerships and conversations that we've been having. Through this past year, we've met with many local organizations and nonprofits. We've been finding local organizations who are doing this mission-aligned work, helping serve vulnerable populations locally in Florida. And we're finding ways to promote these groups and their work throughout the conference. The hope is that these individuals with new and growing local resources will feel that impact long after the conference has left. And meeting with, other partnership organizations that we hadn't even been connected with has really been a blessing through this whole conference planning season. And I really do want to shout out as well. We have such a hard working team here. Margaret Harrison, our event manager, Tia Groden, our director of systems operations, Julie, our event coordinator. There are so many people putting in so much work behind the scenes of this as well that couldn't be or are not on this live stream. So just a big shout out to all the work that they've been doing as well. We've been extending our reach in terms of local stakeholders, local clinicians and institutional members like Marnie, other affiliates. I see a few of you in the chat there as well as advocates and community members who live in Florida and are volunteering their time to meet with us to help identify local resources, what they do with their communities and their networks to promote safety and inclusivity. It's really just been such an amazing evolution to see all these people come together and support this truly life-saving event. We're also exploring additional security measures. What safety looks like is different depending on your lived experience, your culture, where you come from. So we're very mindful of that and working with both the hotel and local security companies to find, additional and maybe less traditional ways to promote safety and security. We're also promoting diversity of vendors. It's one of our values across the organization to try to contract vendors from the wide range of backgrounds and cultures that we see reflected in our community. And we're doing just that in Orlando as well, finding those individuals that we can help promote their businesses and to use their resources. We've also made changes in terms of how we're doing the program of the conference itself. We've made some restructuring with our speaker agreements this year in an effort to encourage more new voices as well as more diverse perspectives. Our speaker pool is really exciting this year. And again, I see a lot of you in the chats that are going to be speakers with us this year. So we're happy to say we're including many diverse voices from many different cultures, ethnicities, races, genders, lived experiences, different countries, and so much more. It's just such a beautiful reflection of the true diversity that makes up this wonderful community.
Thank you for that, Matt. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Marnie.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to highlight, just kind of in reference to some of the other comments I'm seeing. Yes, Florida has been in the media over the past couple of years, just as lots of other states have too. And I think one thing that is important for people to know who are expressing safety concerns, while we certainly can't guarantee everybody's safety all the time, Orlando is considered an area that is that promotes inclusivity, that is welcoming to individuals of all backgrounds. There's lots of DEI initiatives in association with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. And so I think the city of Orlando, as well as IOCDF staff, are really there to help anyone who does feel unsafe for any reason. And the hope is that you'll get there and you will feel safe and there won't be concerns. But if there are going to be initiatives in place to support you. Someone mentioned a buddy system. I think there is something like that in the works, involving advocates, potentially involving security, some security that is going to be discreet. So there's going to be lots of options if that is a concern. But the hope is that you will join us in Orlando. You'll see that it is an inclusive community that is very supportive. And there are lots of allies all throughout the state of Florida. You know, we don't have just one voice in Florida. We have, so yeah, we're hoping that you'll join us. And if there are any concerns, definitely reach out to the IOCDF. And I have no doubt that they will work with you to address any individual or group concerns to make sure that you feel safe and supported at the conference.
Thank you for saying that, Marty. You're exactly right. Very well said. You know, there are less conventional offerings that we're trying out this year as well, and things still in the works. Every year we have our room brigade, which helps those who are struggling with their OCD symptoms be able to come down from their room and attend the conference. We are looking to expand those efforts and make that really accessible to everyone. You know, when we're talking about, I see accessibility coming up in the chat as well. You know, that is definitely a priority of ours as well. And again, something that has always been baked into how we do the conference. So it is something we prioritize in terms of the locations we choose, how the layout of the event goes. And we're always looking to add more accessibility. We have a sensory room for those who may be neurodivergent and not, you know, who get overwhelmed easily, that they will have a tranquil, private place to relax. We're also having a creativity corner. I know I saw one of you mention in the chat earlier. It's a really exciting new addition. There'll be lots more information around that to come out soon. But just finding ways to help regulate any stress people are going through. And like Marnie said, find a way to embrace the positivity that is down in Orlando as well. So we're just so grateful for the opportunity to bring this conference to you all, and really hope that this action plan is executed in a way that makes you all feel included and safe when you attend.
Thank you for that, Matt. You know, what's really striking me is just, you know, what's coming through is the intentionality that's going towards the planning, and it's really incredible. So I really appreciate that. I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about what attendees can expect.
Definitely, you know, hopefully the same incredible conference that they see every year. But, you know, we are enhancing the event with measures around accessibility, inclusivity, were things that have come up in the planning process that we want to address directly. We're going to be having gender inclusive bathrooms throughout the venue. We've, you know, not only had the support of the hotel, but they already have that in place as well. We have LGBTQIA plus special interest groups, meetups, and events throughout the weekend. We're, you know, using this as a way to promote our advocates' voices and finding ways that we can have BIPOC individuals represented and feel, you know, included, and that their voices are heard and recognized. You know, again, the diversity in the speaker pool, it's like you said, Amanda, we're being really intentional with and trying to increase the diversity of our speaker pool, as well as just new voices that we haven't heard. So this conference is really, the focus is access for all. We're really trying to find a way to reach everyone impacted by this disorder. So, you know, from the research end to the lived experience and everything in between, it's really going to be incredible program. We have a new director of clinical research, Sanjay, who is just incredible and been helping us plan this from the program end as well. So we really think that the whole community is going to have so many exciting things to look forward to. And as Becky teased, we have a really exciting keynote speaker this year that we will hopefully be announcing in the very near future, but just with an incredible experience in life in general, but incredible story around her OCD and her treatment and what that meant culturally to her family, and just such a relatable, impactful story. We are also going to have multiple opportunities to honor the late Mike Janicki, who just has done so much incredible work, not only for the OCD community, but for the IOCDF specifically. So with his passing, we really wanted to take this conference as an opportunity to thank him and to honor him, to acknowledge the contributions he's made. So for all those who are attending, whether in person or virtually, you'll be able to find ways to honor Mike's legacy and memory, and hear more about the life and those that he touched.
Thank you for that, Matt. It sounds amazing. I did see in the chat some conversation about the hybrid track, and I know you touched upon it briefly, but I was wondering if we could talk a little bit more about what those attendees can expect.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have everybody tracks every year that we do this conference. So if you don't know what that means, it means that these sessions are appropriate for anyone over 18. So that could be individuals impacted by OCD, and including the professionals who treat them, as well as researchers in the OCD space. So it's something that's more digestible, and we have a range of talks that go all the way up to expert level and wouldn't necessarily be the most welcoming to a lay person who has a lived experience, who hasn't gone through some kind of clinical training. So we make sure to put one of the everyone tracks virtual hybrid, so that whether you're calling in from home as a clinician or someone with lived experience OCD, you'll be able to benefit from these resources. You'll be able to understand the concepts, and you'll be able to participate in some chat and dialogue as well. This year, we're also making the professional plenary and the keynote address hybrid as well. And there will be continuing education credits for independently licensed clinicians who attend virtually as well. So if you can't be there in person, you can still get your CEUs through us.
If you can be there in person, though, there's a water slide at the hotel, I've heard. just
that is true as well.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate those details. I wanted to circle back to the discussion on safety, because I think you had some great points in that, Matt. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the actions we're taking to enhance safety at the conference.
Definitely. Thank you for that, Amanda. It's something that continues to be a conversation, honestly, in whichever city we go to. And the prioritization that we put in the intentionality around the safety of our attendees is always at the forefront of our minds and of the utmost importance. Obviously, when you're putting on an event of this size, we can never guarantee anyone's safety, but we can ensure that there are measures in place to promote safety and to promote inclusivity. I think that this is something that, feels different to everyone, and there's going to be multiple ways that we try to deliver this sense of safe event. We've taken extensive measures to work with the hotel and with local security companies to really find what the best way to promote safety for attendee well-being is. That includes less visible security options, and we've been having extensive feedback from our community members around this. This year, we are also increasing all of our staffing hours from the IOCDF end. We will have we will have staff at registration and at the IOCDF booth in the exhibit hall, present during all activities that are happening. We really want to make sure that if you have questions, if you have concerns, if something's going wrong, if something's going great, you always have someone that you can connect with. And we will increase the hours that we've done in the past just to make sure that there's even more ample coverage in that way.
Thank you for that. That's really great to hear. Marnie or Becky, anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I think Matt covered it very thoroughly.
I did want to talk, we've spoken a lot about inclusivity and the commitment to inclusivity that we have. Can you elaborate a little bit more on the IOCDF's commitment to inclusivity?
Sure, and Becky mentioned this at the top of the stream as well. This is a value and a pillar of the organization. To promote inclusivity means to reach everyone, to reach a wider community. We truly put on this programming, we develop our resources to reach everyone, and those resources that aren't reaching everyone, we are creating a new version, or we're revamping through consultant feedback. We take this to heart and so seriously, and it is embedded across the board in everything that we do. We have an unwavering dedication to hosting this event in a diverse and inclusive way. We really want everyone who is impacted by OCD and related disorders to feel supported and to feel valued. So we will be launching a wider DEI statement that represents the organization's values around diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, justice, belonging, and really showing you all out loud the work that we're doing, what we've done so far, and we still have a long ways to go. So the hope is that everyone can see us building this out loud, and that we are putting our mission forward and letting that guide us and be our North Star. And the hopeful result will be increased inclusivity and increased feelings of safety.
I'll just add to that, Matt, and I just want to acknowledge Matt specifically and our DEI AC that spent a really long time, many months, not just talking about the conference and sort of the situational things that came up this year and will probably continue to come up in other locations in the future, but very thoughtful approach and a lot of work and listening to get to this point. And we're just getting started, and we're going to keep building on that work. I also, just to answer your question, Amanda, I think inclusivity is going to be incredibly important for the organization as we grow. My charge is to help all of us grow and broaden our reach dramatically. There's almost 240 million people in the world who have OCD alone, and we have a lot of work to do. And I think it starts with how can we evolve our thinking on how we're reaching people, how we're including people, what voices aren't involved in decisions that we make about things that might seem simple. And we've got a really good cast of characters and supporters already. And I think we'll have to keep thinking about that and pushing ourselves to get really real about, are we truly reaching everyone we want to reach? And it will be a journey. There's no right answers, and it's not something you can do in 2 years. But I'm excited to work with everyone to take it on.
Thank you for that, Becky. It's really inspiring to hear.
I see in the chat about Chicago. Chicago is next to 2025 and will be in Seattle in 2026, and then New York City in 2027. And yes, Erica, in terms of these types of conversations around safety, again, this is something we've always done behind the scenes as staff, and now we're bringing it to the community and asking for your feedback and asking for you to contribute to this conversation. So this will not only continue to New York City and Chicago and beyond, but it will continue to grow in terms of what we're able to accomplish with these community conversations, because we're really building this framework this year to be able to establish frequency of meetings, what to expect, what do we have on agendas, what do we ask for feedback. Was that survey that we sent out last year, were those even the right questions? It's a really big learning lesson for us, and we don't want to pretend like we have all the answers. That is why it's so valuable for us to have such an active community that can come in and offer this feedback and help us be able to execute that on the other end. So all of this that we're talking about Orlando will continue and even strengthen as we move through the years around the conference.
Thanks for that, Matt. Yeah, it's really amazing to hear just the lessons learned and what we'll be able to apply to future years and how we'll be able to grow and improve just from the lessons learned. So it's really encouraging. In terms of attendees and the experience, what resources are we making available?
That's a great question. I think we've touched upon a lot of them in this conversation kind of naturally, including explicit meetups and resources for LGBTQIA plus attendees, as well as BIPOC resources in the city of Orlando, as well as at our event. These may be things from a list of local vendors who are, minority-owned businesses, that if you want to find a local restaurant to own, where would you want to be spending your money? There are different levels of, resources that the city already offers that we just want to make readily available to you all. So we've really been working, with the travel tourism people in Orlando, as well as the hotel, again, as well as this amazing community, to really be able to offer these resources around the city and the location and the state that will again, hopefully live on and become the legacy of this 2024 conference. We want everything that we're doing to really leave this mark that these individuals who are living there will have these resources moving forward. And again, just to reiterate, we have the sensory room where you can steal away and have that tranquil moment. We will also be adding this creativity corner, also a calm space for unwinding. And like I said before, we're upping what we're doing around the room brigade just to make sure that we have even more trained professionals readily available for those who may require additional assistance overcoming their OCD challenges while they try to participate at the conference.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Matt. Marnie, I had a question.
Oh, and
for
we
you.
will be having a prayer room as well. Sorry to cut you off, Amanda. Prayer room for
No, very important to add that. Thank you.
Yes, the individuals who, are looking for a quiet place to pray away from the busyness that is this conference. We will be having a dedicated prayer room. So just wanted to talk to you.
Marty, I was going to ask you, just from your perspective and in your role with OCD Central in South Florida, what has it been like to work with the IOCDF on this project?
It's always, I feel like it's always great to work with the IOCDF. I think, the conference is just an incredible event that brings together so many people. I've always thought that this conference is just so special in the fact that it brings together clinicians, researchers, supporters, family members, just so many different people, and has programming to target all of those different individuals. And I think that the emphasis this year on really promoting inclusivity and diversity, equity, and accessibility, I just see the IOCDF has been really listening to some of the concerns and really doing their best to address them. And I think being in Florida, I think, as I said earlier, there's tons of allies in Florida too who share that same vision. Orlando itself is actually an incredibly diverse, welcoming, inclusive community, I think, as HG mentioned a little bit earlier in the thread. And so I think just with all the voices and the individuals who are working together on this, I agree. I think it's going to be one of the best conferences ever. And yeah, I think that, all of us are limited by our own lens. So if there's something that we're missing, just speak up and share your voice so that we can do our best to address it. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Thank you for
Well,
that, Marnie.
thank you, Marnie, because people like you are the reason why this is going to be such a success. So we just really appreciate your volunteering so much of your time around this.
I second that.
Same to you guys.
I guess to turn the coin on the other side, Matt and Becky, what has it been like to see all of these stakeholders, you know, really get involved and be so helpful in this process?
I can start, you know, being newer to the organization, this community. I think it's fantastic. You know, I think we took a situation that was difficult for some people, and it was turned it into an opportunity to listen and learn. And I think some of the changes and resources we're adding in for this year, we're going to carry forward into future years. And I think that's what it's all about when you're helping support a community that is so diverse and so different, has so many different types of stakeholders in it. I think the best you can do is just learn every year and just try to make it better and better. And I think that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, well said, Becky. I think, you know, just thinking about the organization, right? The IOCDF is very small. We just hired our 22nd employee, and we're able to accomplish so much because of the hundreds of volunteers in our community. You know, our affiliate groups, our SCB, our board of directors, our DEIC, our advocate groups, you know, LGBT SIGs, our SIGs in general. You know, there are just, I could keep going on and on, and I'm going to stop going on and on because I don't want to leave anyone out, but there are just countless hundreds of people who volunteer their time and their efforts to not only help themselves in situations, access resources, or find community, but to help others, to share their story, to say this resource worked for me. So this DEI, you know, task force that we had around conference planning is really a microcosm of this incredible community that we get to serve, that brings so much passion, knowledge, expertise, and willingness to leave the world in a better place than they had received it. And that love that the 20 of us get from all of you is what drives me, what drives a lot of the staff members. We're just so grateful for you all, and seeing it all play out in the context of this conference has just been really reaffirming. We've all come together around this common mission, and now we're executing something that, I'm quite biased, but I think will be the best conference that we've ever put on.
That's incredible. It's so exciting to hear, and we definitely have a lot to look forward to. Is there anything in particular, as we're coming up on our time on this conversation, is there anything in particular that you want to leave everyone with? Anything specific that you think is a really important takeaway for this conversation?
I'll go first. You know, I think the main takeaway I want people to walk away from is knowing there is a place for everyone in this community. It is our job and our role at the IOCDF to make these events accessible, diverse, and to promote safety. You know, there's endless things that we could do, and we're trying to be strategic around what's going to have the biggest impact, what's going to help the most people, what's going to put on the best event. And this is something that we're going to continue to reevaluate each year. We won't get it perfect, an ultimate exposure here, but we're going to, you know, increase the intentionality around the efforts that we're making and really commit to this in a long-term way. So what you're seeing now in terms of the IOCDF's commitment to DEI is really the beginning. Yes, we've been doing this for a long time, and there's still so much more to go. And like Becky said, as we continue to grow, it needs to be a continued high priority to truly reach everyone within our community.
The only thing I'll add is please come. You know, come see it in person if you can. I agree with everyone that I think it's going to be the best conference we've put on yet. And if you can't make it in person, I encourage you to check out the hybrid track. And I think by participating, you can only help us inform how we can do an even better job next year.
I'm excited to see everybody. I think Becky mentioned that our registration is ahead of any number at this time in the past. So I think that's just a reflection of how much excitement there is. And I'm excited to see everybody, meet new people, see old colleagues, new colleagues. And yeah, I just think it's always a great time, and I'm pumped. Yeah.
Amanda, I'm going to turn it on you. What are you excited about for this year's conference?
I love the intersection of lived experience, researchers, clinicians. I just love seeing the entire community come together. It's such a special environment, and it's just a special, Jeff Bell wrote a fantastic blog for us. I highly recommend everyone check it out, about the IOCDF conference being a family reunion. And that's really a fantastic description for it. It really is just one big family reunion, and it's just such a happy environment. And I just am really looking forward to people being able to participate this year in more than one way. I think it's amazing that we're offering the hybrid track. I just think that, you know, it's going to be an incredible opportunity for everyone really to be a part. So I'm really looking forward to it. That was actually going to be my question. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, good. No, I was going to say, and I'm looking forward to the social media plan that you've been putting together probably since last year, you know, just finding ways for people to continue to connect while they're in Orlando, or if they're on the hybrid track, but all the programming and highlights that you do on social are just really incredible.
Thank you for that. No, we love getting everyone engaged. So we're so excited to see everyone's stories too. That's one of my favorite parts of the conference, is reposting everyone's story content on Instagram. We got a ton of engagement last year, and it's just so much fun to experience it with you all in that way and see it through your eyes. So please keep tagging us and keep sharing with us, because we love to see it. But that was actually going to be my closing question for you all, was what you were most looking forward to at this upcoming conference.
I mean, I can start. This will be my first conference, so I just want to take it all in. I can meet so many people in person, that some I met virtually and some I've just heard about. And just in the short time I've been here, you know, I really just haven't seen anything like a community like this, where there's so much commitment and loyalty to one another. And an openness to growing and changing too. So that's what I'm looking most forward to, is just get the first one under my belt.
Well, you're inspiring me. So kind of the opposite of that is, this will now be my 4th conference, I believe. And every year that I attend, it's just so inspirational. And the connections you build, the work that gets done, the long-term, you know, relationships, seeing the impact of the resources we're delivering, it's truly unlike anything I've ever experienced. And for someone with lived experience OCD, but also just from, I've attended many conferences over my life and career, and this is truly lightning in a bottle. And I love what you said about a family reunion, because you see, this may be the only opportunity you see someone, but you see them every year, and that time together helps us all feel, know that we're not alone, that this is something that we're navigating as a community, and the intersectionality, like you said, Amanda, between the clinicians and lived experience is just so valuable. So I love just seeing all of you and having opportunities to meet new individuals. And of course, like Marnie said, the water slide. So I have to... in the keynote, I'm very excited about the keynote, but we can't.
I would say one of my favorite aspects of this conference is just seeing colleagues and friends that I've met through working in the OCD community, and who are all over the country or outside of the country. And it's just really wonderful to get to connect, in person once a year, have dinner together, do talks together, and just catch up. So that's one of the things that I'm really excited about. So yeah, look forward to seeing all you guys.
We have a lot
I did see a question in the chat. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Matt.
About cost for hybrid. There will be a cost associated. We're still trying to make that as low as possible for the community. As you can imagine, by adding, the accessibility of the cameras, the microphones, everything that goes into that hybrid track for all of those talks is costs that the foundation has to navigate. So there will be a price associated with that, and we should be announcing that in the next few weeks. So thank you for the question.
Pack your flip-flops.
We have a few moments left. If anyone has any final questions for us, we're happy to take any last moment questions.
And make sure you come up and introduce yourself and say hello when we do see you in Orlando, and continue to have this conversation in person.
If you are from Florida and you're coming, we would love to have you involved in our affiliate. So I'm going to give a plug for that. So come visit our booth and let us know if you're interested in being involved, because we would love to have you.
Thank you for that. We're seeing some folks who are saying good night. Matt is in for the water slide.
I heard that the whole executive board of IOCDF was going to be going down the water slide.
It's a great icebreaker. I mean,
yeah, but I heard that.
I see some folks talking about our next stream is going to be tomorrow. We have Ask the Experts with Liz and Chris, and that is tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So we're looking forward to that conversation. Their guest is Leslie Arturi, who is a IOCDF advocate, and it's going to be a great conversation. So we're really looking forward to that. I do have a few closing announcements for us, so if you all would bear with me. The IOCDF is a donor-supported nonprofit organization. Please consider making a donation at iocdf.org/donate. We'd love to hear from you. Please take our live stream survey to tell us what you'd like to see on this platform. We look forward to your feedback. The survey can be found at iocdf.org/livestreamsurvey. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This live stream is one of many. You can see the entire schedule of future streams at iocdf.org/livestreams. You can also view recordings of past live streams, as well as watch our hosts answer your pre-submitted questions on IOCDF's YouTube channel, youtube.com/IOCDF. Remember to like and subscribe to get notified when live streams are scheduled. If you need resources or are looking for a therapist, please visit iocdf.org. That's the end of our formal announcements. I just wanted to see if any of our panelists had any closing thoughts that they wanted to offer before we signed off for the evening.
Well, I do want to also plug, go register, go sign up. You can find out all that registration information on iocdf.org/OCDCon, so OCDCON. So make sure you sign up, find out more information, and yeah, continue to follow along on our socials and our YouTube. All the past live streams live on our YouTube channel, so you can always go back and watch anything that you've missed. And please reach out to us with feedback or questions, and make sure you come up and introduce yourself in person in Orlando as well.
Thank you, everyone, so much for being here. Have a great night.
Night.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.